Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about getting back into your ex's heart. So the first thing that I really need to address is that this sort of thing can only really work on exes that still have feelings for you, still are attracted to you, still in love with you. Like if your ex is gone and they don't have those feelings for you anymore, then really there's not a lot you can do apart from, of course, the inevitable, which is move on, right? But there are some things that you can do if an ex still has feelings for you and still is in love with you, still is attracted to you. There are a few things that you can do. So the first thing that you can do if your ex does still love you and has feelings for you is to make them feel your absence, right? So you do this by going into no contact, by following the no contact rule. And the no contact rule, if you're not aware of it, this is the first time you've ever come across anything like the no contact rule, is basically when you decide that you're not going to speak to your ex anymore in order to reattract them or to find out basically where you stand. Because when you go into no contact and you vow never to basically speak to your ex again, with time, all things will be revealed. Their feelings for you will be revealed. You'll either hear from them at some point or you won't. And if you don't hear from them, then you know your answer. You know that this person doesn't care about you anymore, has moved on with their lives, right? And so you need to make them feel your absence. If they do still have feelings for you, that you need to make them feel your absence. So you go into no contact, you don't speak to them anymore, and with any luck, they'll come back. But as you can see, it's kind of 50-50. Now, I don't know your situation completely, so you may already know whether or not if your ex has completely moved on. Like, let's say they're in a new relationship now, or it's been a long time basically since you last spoke to each other, since the breakup happened. Those things are more of an indication if they've moved on. Now if it's a breakup that happened recently, or if your ex still has feelings for you, that say they sometimes message you out of the blue, just asking how you are, saying, hey, how are you, what you've been up to, they're inquiring about you, they try to keep the conversation going, but it may be the case that your ex does have feelings for you and you don't know about it, right? But the best thing is, and the only thing you should do, is to stay in no contact and make them feel your absence. Because if you're always in your ex's DMs, if they're always getting notifications from you, whether it's from your likes on social media, or you keep on sending them a message, or you keep on giving them missed calls, basically, you keep on trying to call them up, they're not going to be able to miss you, right? Because each time they look at their phone, they can see that they've got a notification from you in whatever format that may be, through Facebook likes, mentions, whatever it may be. So the best way to make them miss you is to go completely silent on them, to not message them, to not phone them up, to not engage with them on social media anymore. That includes likes, watching their stories. Because if you're in their feed in whatever way and they're getting notifications from you, they're still, they're not going to be able to miss you. And you want them to miss you, because if an ex loves you and cares about you and is still attracted to you, once you've gone off the radar and you're in no contact with them, if they love you and care about you, they will start to miss you. They'll be like, oh my god, I think this person's gone. I love them. I still have feelings for them, and oh my god, I feel like I'm losing them because they're gone. They're not saying anything to me anymore, and that will make them want to reach out to you and pursue you. And that's a great method to use, going into no contact and backing off, basically. In lots of different areas. This is how you can find out who some of your true friends are. Like, if you have friends that really want to be in your life and care about you, will stay in contact with you, right? I'm not saying that you should play this game to try and find out who likes you and cares about you, but genuinely, if you're the one that's always putting in the effort, like trying to get an ex back or trying to engage with this friendship, then you're probably the one that's always initiating things, always making the plans, always trying to do things, right, in order to keep the relationship alive, in order to keep the connection alive. So if you stop doing that, someone that cares about you, will start putting in more of the effort. So if you feel like there are people in your life that don't put in any effort with you, then this is something that you definitely probably should actually do to try and find out if this person is actually worth your time. Okay, so it's something to think about, okay? So the next thing that you can do to get back into your ex's heart is to start tackling, again, only if they still have feelings for you and are still attracted to you, is to start tackling your goals, your dreams, start to achieve things, start to improve your life, right? Start to get onto, get onto the path basically of where you want to be. Because what you want to do is you want to ideally look at your life and analyze it and think, okay, where do I want to be? What kind of body do I want? What do I want my body to look like? What do I want my lifestyle to be like? What kind of house do I want to live in? What kind of area do I want to live in? How much do I want to be earning? What kind of job what kind of career do I want? Those sorts of questions. Ask yourself that, figure out what those things are, and then take action on those things every day, because by doing so, that also takes your mind off of your ex. It helps you stay in no contact better, helps you develop strength and confidence because you're taking action. So that's something else that can really help win you back into your ex, go back into your ex's heart, because when you're doing that, when you're accomplishing things, when you're achieving, and you're getting your life in order, you're setting yourself right emotionally, you're in a good place, getting yourself into a good place. If your ex happens to come across your social media pages or looks at your stories, whatever they may do, they're going to look at that and think, oh, wow, they've completely done a 180, and they seem like they're really enjoying their life, they're really happy. I'm curious about that, like, because maybe they're not happy and they can see that you're happy, and they think, oh, maybe I should reach out and contact them, things like that. It's something that people do. So the question then you want to ask yourself is, but do I even want to get back with them? Do I actually even want them back in my life? Now, 9 times out of 10, you should never get back with an ex. It should be something that's ended, done, and dusted, because usually your ex is an ex for a reason, right? And there's a reason why that saying is a cliche. Like, if you've heard that saying a lot, like your ex is an ex for a reason, if it's a cliche, there's a reason why it's a cliche. And the reason usually is, and the reason why you hear it over and over again, is because it's true. Like, something you hear over and over again like that usually has some truth to it. Okay, so it's best to keep your ex in the past, right? So how do you know then, basically? How do you know if your ex should stay in the past? And that is if you two lived completely different lives. For example, I talk about this example a lot, and it is when I was in my first major relationship, my girlfriend at the time was, she really loved to go out and party, she loved drinking, she wasn't faithful, and I was someone who, even though I was in my early 20s, I didn't mind having a drink now and then, having a party and getting a bit crazy sometimes, right? But this was something that was happening every weekend, sometimes a day during the week as well, sometimes an evening in the week, and it was happening all the time, right? And it just wasn't what I wanted at that stage in my life. Like, I wanted someone who I could settle down with, start a family with, have a career, focus on those things, not not party all the time. And I wanted to, like, get up earlier and to go and do things during the day together, like going on hiking, walks, things like that, doing activities outside, going on a picnic, those nice things. I wanted to be doing those things. And also, she wasn't monogamous, and I wanted someone who was monogamous. I wanted someone who was loyal and faithful, right? And that's why I broke up with her, basically, essentially, in the end. It took me a few tries. There was a couple of times where I went back, but at the end of the day, it still ended because I couldn't tolerate living in those sort of conditions, and with the fact that her lifestyle just completely clashed with mine, and we both wanted different things. So in that kind of scenario, it was best for me to leave, right? Even though it was horrible and it hurt at the time, like, it was the best thing for me to do for myself. And it was probably the most smartest decision I had made up to that point in my entire life, not staying with her. That was the best decision I've ever made, ever, literally. Right, just thinking back on it, because I'd made a lot of crappy decisions, as we all do as teenagers, and I was with this girl in my early 20s, and that was definitely the most smartest thing I'd ever done for myself up until that point, right? So that's something else as well. You need to think that, do I want to get back with them? What was our lifestyles like? How bad was it at the end? Like, if you were always arguing and you just couldn't communicate with each other, it's probably not a good idea to get back with them, because if you do reconcile, it may be good for like a few weeks, and because you're kind of back in that honeymoon phase again. But eventually you're just going to slip back into old habits, and it's just going to continue being the same old thing that it always was, because that was the thing that I noticed. Like, I went back to her, this ex of mine now, a couple of times. I went back to her in, This whole thing sort of happened in the process of a year. I think I was about 20, 21 to 22. Like, I was around that age for me. And yeah, I kept on going back during that time, during that year that we were together, because I thought, oh, maybe I can change her, maybe things can improve, maybe things will get better. But it never did, because most people aren't willing to change themselves, to change their behavior, even if they were doing something that was actually not morally right and things like that. So you have to ask yourself that, do I really want to get back with this ex? So, that's my advice on, getting back into your ex's heart. The only really way you can do it is to stay in no contact, to make them miss you, because if they love you and care about you, they will eventually reach out to you. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.